Did you guys want to say anything?
No, Your Honor. Ms. Thompson in her PSI did make some comments to the family, so we just asked them to state, show the family that.
Well, I'm not going to read them. If she wants to read them, she can read them, but that's 100% up to her. So having said that, anything else we need to do before sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so with that, court read the PSI, read the letters in support of the defendant.
This is one of the most important moments before any sentence is announced. Notice the judge carefully explains everything considered: pre-sentence reports, letters of support, and statements from the victim's family. That record matters because it shows the decision isn't being made in a vacuum. What do you think carries the most weight at sentencing? The evidence, the victim impact statements, or the defendant's background?
Heard from every single member of the family wanted to speak to me with regard to Ms. Thompson. With that, I'm sorry, with the decedent, Kayla. Having said that, and having watched the trial and having watched the jury's reactions to each individual thing that was placed in evidence, and having watched the witnesses testify as to what they testified to.
Here's a detail that likely stood out to everyone in the courtroom. The judge points to DNA found beneath the victim's fingernail and notes how investigators connected it back to the defendant. Forensic evidence like this can become a pivotal piece of the prosecution's case because it gives the court physical evidence to consider alongside witness testimony.
It's interesting that I note that the defendant was in the beauty business, and the beauty business is what led the police to the defendant through the DNA sample that was found underneath the fingernail of the victim.
And there it is, the sentence: life in prison without parole. That's one of the most severe penalties available, meaning the judge determined the law and the facts warranted permanent incarceration. Regardless of where people stand on the case, this is the moment that permanently changes the defendant's future.
With that, I also understand I have no discretion whatsoever, nor would I want any discretion whatsoever with regard to this particular case. I do believe the defendant needs to go to prison. I do believe the defendant's...
Even after a life sentence is announced, the legal process isn't completely over. The judge explains the defendant's right to appeal, which is a standard part of criminal procedure. An appeal doesn't retry the facts. It focuses on whether legal errors may have affected the outcome.
In this particular situation, crime was heinous in the way she tracked down, located, showed up, and then killed Ms. Thompson. With that, the court does sentence Ms. Thompson to adjudicated guilty sentence to life in prison. Under Florida's criminal punishment code, that's without parole, and she will serve the remainder of her life in prison. And anything else?
In order of restitution with regard to
Total order reserve restitution, the outstanding court costs will be a civil lien. With that, anything further with regard to the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. With that, Ms. Thompson, you have 30 days to appeal the sentence of court. If you cannot afford a lawyer will represent you, and I will make the pre-sentence investigation letters and the information that was presented to me a part of the court proceedings. Thank you very much, and our business is concluded for the day.
Close the door.
Just wait for her to walk.
Trying to decide if it's worth trying to see if I
Just good, except for that one lady. Good here. Everybody else is fine.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
She's probably got
Thank you.
All right. Too late to get pictures from where I am.
After the formal proceedings end, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The courtroom moves from the emotional weight of sentencing back to routine administrative conversations. It's a reminder that while one case reaches its conclusion, the justice system continues moving forward with the next matter.
What do we have tomorrow? A trial? Who are we going on? Okay. They're gonna, is that a mystery base? A mystery base?
With that, the record is complete and the courtroom wraps up the remaining paperwork. Cases may end with a sentence, but every document, order, and filing becomes part of the official record for any future proceedings. Do you think the judge explained the reasoning behind the sentence clearly, or was there something you wanted to hear addressed in more detail?
Yes, I'm gonna sit with her.
Huh? Is the victim going to show up for that? Oh, maybe. No. I thought they spoke, everybody spoke to him. How are you going to take her depo tomorrow when she starts tomorrow?
She's gonna order a reporter to take the double in the morning and then give her the start of the afternoon.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Judge, can we have one of the bailiffs make copies of those letters if possible, just so I can put them in my file?
We can. I don't know how they're going to make them, but...
I mean, we have the PSF.
Let me see if Sabrina can come. She'll make it.
Can I get a point?
Amy, come on in and so you make copies
Like you're
of
gonna
these
say
letters here for the defense. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Judge?
No,
Stockings is Jimmy.
Oh,
Sabrina.